All right, guys, welcome back to Father and Son Investing. The HUMBL Financial investor conference call took place just a few hours ago, so I wanted to go over what happened during that call. Now, Brian Foote spoke for a little while talking about Web3, and he's talked about those things before, so I'm not going to touch on those. Now, it's unusual for them to do a conference call on a Tuesday. Usually they're done on Friday after the market closes, but they did it on a Tuesday this time. And he mentioned that tomorrow on CNBC, he will be on the air with one of their hosts and talking about HUMBL Financial. So we'll see if the HUMBL stock takes a little jump, as so many other stocks that get discussed on CNBC do. Now, he was thankful for some of the press coverage that's been happening recently. Of course, I talked about the article that was in Forbes on my last video, talking about origin assurance. If you're not familiar with that, I'll touch on that in this video when we talk about NFTs. All right, this is the slide that essentially covers what was going to be discussed on the conference call today. So you could break HUMBL down into three sections: HUMBL Pay, HUMBL Marketplace, and HUMBL Financial. Now, of course, HUMBL Financial recently just got launched within the United States, such that we were all able to buy the ETXs if we wanted to. ETX, not ETF. But the concept is the same. It is a collection of different digital assets that one can purchase using the HUMBL app. The advantage of that is that you get to use the HUMBL bots that will buy and sell and keep track of your digital assets with the intent of maximizing your returns. If you're not familiar with those, I did 2 videos on those recently, and you can go back and watch each of those. One of them talked about the launch day, and then after it was launched, of course, the website crashed because it was so busy. I was able to get into it over the weekend and made my account, and I showed you how to go about doing that. All right, the CNBC announcement was just a minor part of this conference call. The big news out of this is that the HUMBL Mobile division launches on the 16th of April. So Friday, April 16th in the United States, Mexico, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and Singapore will be stage 1. They didn't give dates yet for the rollout of stage 2, which will include multiple countries. I'll blow that up here on the screen so you can look for your country to see if you'll be included in that. And then there will be just a few more countries for the third part of this. Now, what will you be able to do? You will be able to discover items, so you'll be able to search for things that you want to purchase. You'll be able to pay for them in there. You'll be able to provide a tip if you would like, and then you can go and rate the company that you purchased something from. You can also review those ratings, obviously, and then ticketings. Recently, they purchased Tickery, right? So now they'll have tickets for concerts and other events. And then there will be some other offers that will be available to you. Now, also, the intent at some point will be within this HUMBL mobile app, besides just merchant and pay and reviews, a marketplace where one will be able to purchase NFTs. Now, say there's a photograph or a painting that you really want, but you don't necessarily want the printed out version of it. You can certainly tokenize that and buy the photograph as a digital asset, and it will be in the blockchain, so that if only 50 copies of it are available, that will be stored digitally, that there's only 50 copies of it and you have item 7 of 50 or 32 of 50, whatever it is you bought. Also, say sometime down the road you have a ticket to a concert or perhaps the Super Bowl, and you don't necessarily want to have the paper ticket that you have to save forever. Instead, those tickets could come as an NFT, and it will show that this was a legitimate ticket to whatever event it was that you went to, and you'll be able to store that as a keepsake as well. Another intent eventually of the HUMBL mobile platform will be peer-to-peer payments as well. You go to lunch with somebody and you want to be able to pay your part of the deal. Well, you could do that with peer-to-peer. All right, Brian Foote spent a lot of time actually talking about NFTs on this conference call. Now, you may be aware that they recently started something called Origin Assurance. Initially, that started with blocks that Brian Foote was involved in before HUMBL, but all those rights have been transferred over to HUMBL. So Origin Assurance, it's essentially what I was talking about. You purchase a photograph. This will come with an NFT, a non-fungible non-fungible token that will identify the item that you've purchased. It's in the blockchain, so it can't be altered, and it can even come with a QR code that will verify that what you've purchased is legitimate. Now, something kind of comical that he discussed is that the NBA, the National Basketball Association, has obviously already been selling NFTs, little clips of basketball players doing spectacular things. And they found that when they used the term block or blockchain, that people became less likely to buy them. There's a lot of people who are still skeptical about blockchain technology, but at some point it will just become standard. When we did cell phones, suddenly people were buying minutes. And then, of course, data came along on phones, and we started talking about megabytes, not so much minutes. And eventually people will be willing to accept blocks as well. Now, I found this part of the conference call very interesting. I had already read about the origin assurance that he was doing, but he's thinking a lot about all these things that can be digitized. So, of course, athletes are digitizing some of their things, including just their photos. Right now people trade baseball cards, but eventually they might just be trading NFTs of pictures of athletes. Now, one thing that I found really interesting was film. He talked about that a movie, in the future, could make more money by splitting up into 15-second little segments and being tokenized as NFTs, rather than the amount of money that they would make for showing the whole film. So many different ways that people can monetize this. Thinking of the future, entertainment. Who knows what kind of entertainment could be split up into digital tokens. Your kid has a birthday, and you want somebody to do something for a birthday. You could buy one of 500 of some form of entertainment and have it as an NFT. For high-end fashion, they are worried a lot about piracy, people making knockoffs and selling them. Well, instead, high-end fashion could be sold with an NFT, a token, that essentially verifies that the clothing that you purchased is legitimate. And he talked about, gaming and photography. I think this is just kind of scratching the surface, and that we'll find that even more and more things than we probably can think of. Imagine having your home title as an NFT. So this was an example that he used of athletes. They look just like baseball cards, don't they? But these could be NFTs. And imagine the kind of data that they could put on there. Or maybe the card could come even with a little video clip of something that the athlete did as well as part of the NFT. The imagination for this and where it can go is wide open. All right, so the summary of the conference call, of course, HUMBL Financial, that went live in the United States recently. So they're up to 100 countries right now that has the HUMBL Financial ability. HUMBL Pay, again, rolls out on April 16th, this Friday, and that will come as a phased rollout into multiple different countries in different rollouts. And then the future, HUMBL Marketplace and NFTs, origin assurance, they're already starting in with this, and he didn't give a firm date for when all of this, the NFTs and the HUMBL Marketplace would be live, really. But here's kind of the roadmap for what we're expecting for that. The NFTs in the fourth quarter is where we will look for that. So that's kind of the summary of the conference call. Hopefully that was way shorter than the 40 or so minutes that I spent watching it. I like HUMBL. I own some of the stock, and I have signed up for the ETXs. I used Coinbase because I'm also interested in Coinbase, which, by the way, has their direct public offering and DPO tomorrow. $2.50 a share is what we're expecting. That's actually kind of a bargain. That'll put it at about $49 billion, and the expectation was that Coinbase could be valued as much as $100 billion. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Coinbase stock go up. All right, this is a HUMBL video, so we'll quit talking about Coinbase. Until next time, enjoy your investing.